The F1 rumor mill went into overdrive when it looked like Daniel Ricciardo was going to join a top team, but then Lewis Hamilton got in the way. Lewis Hamilton has put a damper on the speculation. Let's know the details in this video, so make sure you stick with me till the end. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the video. Aussie Daniel Ricciardo's next job could be as a backup driver for Mercedes, with the goal of taking over from the 7-time world champion. After Ricciardo was let go from McLaren to make room for fellow Aussie Oscar Piastri, the Formula One rumor mill went into overdrive. The veteran driver didn't have any options for getting near the front of the grid. Alpine seems to be the next best choice, since McLaren is definitely out and getting into the top 3 teams seems at best unlikely. However, Pierre Gasly is expected to join Alpine from AlphaTauri. It doesn't leave Ricciardo with many good options. He was caught on a hot mic telling Red Bull's Sergio Perez that he wanted to take a year off and come back in 2024. That was until he was mentioned as a possible replacement for Hamilton and George Russell at Mercedes. Ricciardo, who is 33 and 4 years younger than Hamilton, would be able to fill Hamilton's seat at Mercedes if the 7-time world champion decided to end his career. Seems only Hamilton doesn't want to change. When asked about leaving Formula One before the Italian Grand Prix, Hamilton denied that he was looking for a way out, but Hamilton said that Ricciardo should have a seat, even though there aren't many options for 2023. When asked if he had talked to Mercedes about joining the team, Ricciardo said, "No comment." George Russell, who is also on Hamilton's Mercedes team, said he would love to have Ricciardo on the team. Also, Toto Wolff, the head of Mercedes, said that Ricciardo had caught their eye, but they didn't end up making a move. He was referring to what happened in 2019 when Ricciardo joined Renault. In other news, is De Vries on his way to AlphaTauri? While the Colton Herta file has failed, Red Bull could officially set its sights on Nick De Vries to occupy one of the AlphaTauri seats next year. Nick De Vries caused a sensation at the Italian Grand Prix by taking a surprise 9th place after replacing at short notice Alex Albon, a victim of an appendicitis attack, at the wheel of the Williams FW44 from Free Practice 3, a result that did not go unnoticed, and especially not on the side of Red Bull. Indeed, according to information from some publications, eyewitnesses saw the Dutchman this Friday in Graz, where Helmut Marko's offices are located, and the two men a priori met to discuss. Some sources even go as far as to say that the agreement for a starting seat in 2023 has already been concluded. Age 27, and therefore the author of his Grand Prix debut at Monza last weekend, De Vries is an interesting profile for Marko. He was a Mercedes driver for a long time, but is no longer contractually bound to the brand. With the star firm, he notably won the Formula E World Championship in 2020-2021. He also has an F2 champion title to his name in 2019. In recent months, his name has notably been cited for a starting seat in 2023 alongside Williams, but also Alpine. He must also carry out a test with the French team at the Hungaroring by the end of the month. Potential interest in De Vries from the Red Bull clan seems to explain why Marko has left the door open for Pierre Gasly to leave before the end of his contract. Indeed, such a situation at one time seemed to be solely linked to the arrival of Colton Herta at AlphaTauri, but this project took a turn for the worse. If De Vries were therefore to be hired for the 2023 season, AlphaTauri would no longer have any reason to not release Gasly, who could then join Esteban Ocon at Alpine, while the French team is still looking to replace Fernando Alonso after the episode of Oscar Piastri's contract. Next, why was Formula One racing not resumed? Here is the explanation, the errors, and the controversy of a 2022 Italian Grand Prix that ended under a safety car. The dismissal of Michael Masi as the head of the Formula One race management team was received as a joy by a sector of the fans and teams that saw in the Australian the culprit of all the mistakes made since 2019, and especially in the 2021 season. However, time has finally confirmed what was evident. The problem with the FIA and F1 was not Masi, but the structure. Proof of this was the outcome of the 2022 Italian Grand Prix, an event where a lot of things happened, not only in Formula One and not only on Sunday, but from the training categories to the qualifying session on Saturday. All this to end with a climax that ignited the Ferrari Tifosi as the Italian Grand Prix inexplicably ended under a safety car. The controversy? What happened at the end of the 2022 Italian Grand Prix race? On lap 47 of 53, Daniel Ricciardo had to stop his McLaren due to a technical failure, with such bad luck that he did it in the worst area to remove it from the entire circuit. In the middle of Sector 2, in the curves of Lesmo, just at the inner vertex, the Australian parked his car. In this area, the cranes and the marshal station are at the other end, that is, on the outside, since it's common for accidents to occur that end up with the competitors at the barrier. Race direction takes 50 clock seconds from when the yellow flag is announced until it is indicated that there's a safety car regime. This in F1 is a whirl because except in that section, in the rest of the track you can maintain the speed of competition. At the same time, the teams call their drivers for a change of wheels, keeping in mind that the race will resume. resume. That race direction took almost an entire lap to make a decision that should be instantaneous is a flagrant mistake because it adulterates the competition and puts drivers and stewards at risk. The worst thing is that the drama did not end there. As a rule, the safety car must always start ahead of the race leader and, from there, form a platoon and slow the group down. In Italy, he came out at the height of George Russell, fourth, as a result of the late call by the management. That meant that until Verstappen reached the safety car, 2 laps passed, that is, 6 minutes. It's at this point that, with 4 laps to go, the stewards realize that there is a problem preventing a quick extraction as the McLaren could not enter neutral. This makes the single-seater unportable and requires the input of a crane. In this type of situation, more after Japan 2014, it is normal for a red flag to come out for safety reasons. However, race direction did not consider it opportune. Every effort was made to remove Ricciardo's car as quickly as possible and restart the race. The stewards could not put it in neutral and take it towards the escape route. Why did the race end under the safety car? Finishing a race under a safety car is not something new in Formula One and has happened on more than one occasion, especially due to security or weather conditions. The problem with the FIA and the race directorate is that after what happened in Abu Dhabi 2021, measures were taken so that a similar case with the restart procedure would not be repeated. On the one hand, race direction made the mistake of not allowing all the drivers to split up and get on the lead lap as Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Nicholas Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen were left with 1 less lap. As a consequence, the safety car was withdrawn to the pits before the checkered flag. A new mistake because according to the FIA's own rules, until all of them are unfolded, it cannot leave the track. This is what an FIA spokesman had to say about why the race was finished under safety car. He stated that although every effort was made to recover the number 3 car quickly and restart the race, the situation developed and the stewards were unable to put the car in neutral and push it towards the escape route. As the safety of the car removal operation is their only priority, and the incident was not significant enough to require a red flag, the race ended under the safety car following the procedures agreed between the FIA and all competitors. He further stated that the timing of the safety car period within a race has nothing to do with that procedure. The error in this procedure could have had notable consequences for the championship because, in the event that any driver had had a time penalty, it would be blurred by not crossing the finish line under the safety car regime, increasing their distance with respect to those of behind. So, that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching and see you next time.